Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and history lovers. Today we take a deep dive into the fascinating world of American coinage with a special spotlight on a game-changing coin, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar, featuring the iconic motto E pluribus unum. This wasn't just another coin, it marked a historic transition in US minting, and had a ripple effect that still impacts collectors and the coin market today. Close-up of the 1965 quarter, rotating slowly. Let's explore its origins, design, the metal change that rocked the nation, the meaning behind E pluribus unum, and why this coin holds such historical weight. The origins of the Washington quarter. 1930s archival footage, Great Depression visuals, President George Washington portraits. To understand the 1965 Washington quarter, we need to go back to its original creation in 1932. That year marked the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new quarter-dollar coin featuring his portrait. The coin was designed by John Flanagan, a respected sculptor, and it replaced the previous standing Liberty quarter, which had been in circulation since 1916. Standing Liberty quarter versus Washington quarter. The obverse featured Washington's profile, and the reverse proudly displayed a majestic bald eagle with wings spread wide. Prominently placed above the eagle was the enduring national motto, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one. This phrase signifies the unity of the American states forming one nation, a powerful message carried on almost every US coin. The silver crisis and the coin shorter. Economic footage, news headlines about silver prices and coin shortages. Fast forward to the early 1960s, and the United States was facing a critical issue, a coin shortage, and at the center of it was silver. Up until 1964, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But the global price of silver was rising, and these coins were suddenly worth more as metal than as money. People began hoarding quarters and other silver coins, removing them from circulation. Graph showing rising silver prices versus coin hoarding patterns. The government was forced to act quickly. The solution? Change the composition of coins, specifically the quarter. The historic change, 1965 composition shift. Inside the US Mint, footage of coins being struck. Copper nickel sheets rolling. In 1965, the US Mint officially removed silver from the quarter. The new composition became outer layers 75% copper, 25% nickel, core, pure copper. This clad coin still maintained the same size and weight as previous quarters, but the silver sheen was gone. 1964 silver quarter versus 1965 clad quarter. To prevent confusion, the Mint did not include mint marks on quarters from 1965 to 1967. Why? They didn't want people hoarding coins from certain mints thinking they were more valuable. The 1965 Washington quarter became the first clad quarter, and it marked the start of modern coinage as we know E pluribus unum, a motto of unity. Text overlay of E pluribus unum, with historical imagery of us states joining the Union. Though the metal composition had changed, one element remained proudly intact, the motto, E pluribus unum. This Latin phrase dates back to 1776, and was part of the Great Seal of the United States. It appeared on coins as early as the late 18th century, and represents a fundamental American principle, that from many different people, states and cultures, emerges one unified nation. 13 stars surrounding the eagle on the reverse of the coin. On the 1965 quarter, it sits directly above the eagle, a reminder of national unity during a time of great change. Design details of the 1965 Washington quarter. High-definition breakdown of the coin's obverse and reverse. Let's take a closer look at the design elements of the 1965 quarter. Obverse front. Portrait of George Washington facing left. Designer John Flanagan. The word Liberty arches above. The date 1965 is placed below the bust. In God We Trust appears on the left side, reverse back. A bald eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows. Below it, olive branches, symbols of peace. Above the eagle, the powerful motto, E Pluribus Unum. The words United States of America and quarter dollar frame the coin. Even though silver was removed, the integrity of the design was maintained, offering a sense of continuity for the American people. Mintage and distribution. U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. In 1965, the mint struck an enormous number of quarters to meet the high demand and ease the shortage. Over 1.8 billion 1965 quarters were minted, all without mint marks as mentioned earlier. All of them were technically minted in Philadelphia, but some production was assisted by branch mints. This makes unmarked 1965 quarters very common, but also historically significant as they represent the first wave of a new era in U.S. Coinage, collector value and rare errors, coin collecting fair, magnifying glass inspecting a quarter. So, is the 1965 Washington quarter worth anything more than 25 cents today? In most cases, circulated 1965 quarters are worth face value, due to high mintage and lack of silver. However, there are some rare exceptions. 1965 silver quarter errors. A few quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets intended for 1964 coins. These rare silver 1965 quarters can sell for thousands of dollars. Off-center strikes, double dies and other mint errors from this year are also sought after by collectors. Always check the edge. Silver quarters have a solid silver edge, while clad coins show a copper stripe. Cultural and historical significance. 1960s civil rights protests, Vietnam War clips, Apollo mission footage. The 1965 quarter came out during a turbulent time in American history. The civil rights movement was at its peak. The Vietnam War was escalating. The space race was in full swing. In this context, the coin's motto, E Pluribus Unum, carried deep meaning, a symbol of hope, unity and resilience in a divided era. Even in the face of economic shifts and social upheaval, this small coin stood as a silent emblem of American identity. Legacy of the 1965 quarter. Timeline of Washington quarters leading up to the modern 50 states series. The 1965 Washington quarter set the foundation for modern U.S. coinage. Its copper-nickel-clad composition became the standard for decades. And while the design remained mostly unchanged until 1998, the quarter would later become a canvas for creativity. The 50-state quarters program began in 1999, followed by the America the Beautiful series. And now the American women quarters of today. All of them trace their legacy back to this transformative year, 1965. Conclusion. A small coin with a big story. Final montage of quarters through the ages, ending with a 1965 coin on a velvet cloth. So there you have it. The story of the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. A coin that marked a bold step away from silver, reflected a changing economy, and carried the timeless message of unity with E Pluribus Unum. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, based on a 1786 bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year of minting, in this case 1965. On the reverse we see the classic heraldic eagle, wings spread proudly with a bundle of arrows below and 2 olive branches. Above it the words United States of America and the powerful phrase, E Pluribus Unum. At the bottom of course is the denomination, quarter dollar. But 1965 wasn't just another minting year, it was the start of something huge, the end of silver quarters. Why 1965 was a turning point. Before 1965, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These coins had intrinsic value due to the silver content. However, by the early 1960s, silver prices were rising rapidly. The cost of minting silver coins began to exceed their face value, prompting people to hoard them. To prevent a coin shortage, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters. As a result, starting in 1965, the quarter was changed to a clad composition. A core of pure copper, sandwiched between two layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This transition made the 1965 Washington quarter the first year of the clad era. And because of this pivotal change, the 1965 quarter holds a special place in numismatic history. Design elements, and e pluribus unum. The reverse design remains iconic, with the eagle and the inscription, e pluribus unum. This phrase, which first appeared on U.S. coins in 1795, reflects the nation's unity. In the context of the Washington quarter, it bridges American ideals with timeless classical symbolism. From a design standpoint, the 1965 quarter doesn't differ much from earlier versions, but what's under the surface has changed entirely. How to identify a 1965 quarter? To identify a genuine 1965 Washington quarter, look at the date. 1965 should be clearly visible on the obverse just beneath Washington's profile. No mint mark appears on 1965 quarters. All were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Check the coin's edge. It should show a copper core with a nickel layer, giving it a two-tone appearance. If your 1965 quarter looks solid silver without a visible copper edge, you may want to pay closer attention. Rare variants and errors. Now here's where things get exciting for collectors. While most 1965 quarters are common and worth face value, some rare errors and variants exist. 1965 silver quarter error. During the transition in 1965, some planchets from 1964, made of 90% silver, were accidentally used. These are extremely rare, and can fetch $5,000 to over $10,000, depending on condition. How to test it? Weigh it. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams, while a clad one is 5.67 grams. No copper edge. A silver coin won't show the copper stripe on the edge. Some 1965 quarters show signs of doubling on the lettering or date. These double die errors are collectible and can be worth $100 to $300 or more, depending on visibility and grade. If your 1965 quarter was struck off-center, missing part of the design, it might sell for $50 to $200 or more, depending on the percentage of the arrow. These quarters are missing a curved section, as if a piece were clipped from the edge. These can bring in $20 to $150. So before you spend that old 1965 quarter, take a closer look. Value breakdown. Now let's talk dot value. 25 cents to 50 cents. MS60 MS63 value $1 to $5. High grade mint state MS65 MS67 value $10 to $50, with some fetching up to $100 plus. Rare silver 1965 quarter error value $5,000 to $10,000 plus. Error coins, double die, off-center, and clipped planchet errors, can be worth anywhere from $20 to several $100s. The value jumps significantly when the coin is professionally graded by companies like PCGs or NGC. Here are some quick tips if you want to collect or sell 1965 Washington quarters. Weigh your coins. A simple kitchen scale can help you detect silver planchets. Inspect with magnification. Check for doubling or minting errors. Use a coin price guide, or online auction sites like eBay to gauge value. Get a second opinion. Certified grading adds authenticity and resale value. Also consider keeping your best condition coins in protective holders to preserve them. The 1965 Washington quarter may look ordinary, but its role in us Monetary history, and the possibility of rare variants, make it a worthy coin for collectors. Keep an eye out for errors, check for that rare silver version, and never underestimate what you might find in your pocket changed. If you enjoyed this video and want more coin collecting stories, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!